Oh shit. Here we go again.
Now, Kotaku. Kotaku. It hurts you right in your feels that Twitter is destroying you right now over how you've been handling the Nintendo blacklisting, Tears of the Kingdom controversy. It puts you on the edge of your seat with anger and vitriol, so you gotta make even more articles as if that's somehow gonna win people over to your side. And then you pump out crap articles like this one, articles that I'll give you credit. You at least updated in a way that made you look a little less awful, like you have some sort of journalistic integrity. So let's take a look at this awful article. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle, and let's learn even further about how Kotaku just cannot handle the fact that they are, not Nintendo's favorite, because let's be honest, Kotaku is no one's favorite. Nintendo's new Zelda trailer is a very sad movie. Update. I'm 43 years old, squarely in the commercial sites, and I do not like it. Well, thank you, Kotaku. I was unaware that you allowed your publishers, your writers, to just use Kotaku articles as therapy sessions. I guess we, the viewer, are we the therapists? Because, you're supposed to be showing this to us. This is not journalism, but yeah, let's take a look at this by Luke Plunkett. Again, I'll at least give credit that they updated the article, but we're going to show where the update starts. So forget that it's been updated for now. Just think about this as the initial, forget the update and think that this is the first draft, the one that was published first, and let's read through here, and then we'll get to the update. There are all kinds of demographics who are going to be very into the next Zelda game, but this new trailer for Tears of the Kingdom is one that is somewhere between a personal appeal and personal attack on me. A 43-year-old man has one very specific audience in mind. Alright, bro. You're a 43-year-old man. You're writing for a video game company. You wouldn't be writing a negative article about how a trailer made you feel bad in your fifis if you hadn't been blacklisted by Nintendo. Let's come out and say it. If any other game came out by a company that has not blacklisted you, you wouldn't be making this article. This article, you're trying to sound deep and introspective, like, oh, I've done a lot of thinking, when in all reality, this is incredibly petty and just your way of continuing the controversy, because let's be honest, that's the only thing driving clicks on your site right now. It's not like you got millions of viewers like the idiot on Twitter who works for you guys claimed. No, you don't have millions of viewers. However, if you bring up this Nintendo blacklisting drama enough and put out enough negative articles to fuel the rage bait, people will at least click on them, like my moronic self did, so I can make a video on how stupid you are. But hey, at least all of us can, laugh at you, not with you. The kids, they're gonna buy it. The youth, the young adults, this is a new Zelda game. Those people all pre-ordered the game or bugged their parents to pre-order it months ago. But old gamers, that's a different story. Older gamers have jobs. They might have a big house. They might have a family. They might have other things to do instead of play video games all the time. And yes, these are facts. These are absolutely facts. Oh well. So growing up was part of life. We know all this, and Nintendo also knows this, so right now, what you're trying to do is you're trying to emotionally manipulate your readers. You're trying to get us to sit here and be like, oh man, I feel sorry for old gamers. I don't feel, as somebody who was almost in my 30s and, has been playing video games for as long as I can remember, watching anime as long as I can remember, participating in escapism as far as I can remember, dude, I don't feel bad about the 43-year-old that, is got, too big of a house or has, the kids or anything to that effect. You can find time for the things you love. There's always a way to do so. And if you can't, that is on you. Because as somebody who has very much experienced adult life, there's always a way for leisure time with whatever you find to be your form of leisure, whether it's playing an instrument or watching movies, playing video games, learning a new skill, anything that is a hobby or something to do with leisure, working on cars, building model, play sets or whatever. There's always time for it. Even if it's only an hour a week, 30 minutes a night, there's still always time if you find the time. The vast majority of adults make up excuses as to why they can't do the things they love anymore, because that's just easier and more convenient than putting the work in. So don't try and emotionally gaslight us into thinking that we should be feeling sorry for people who are not taking control of their lives and trying to, find ways to reinvest their emotions and their soul into a passion they once loved, whether it be gaming or any other passion. Sure, they might own a Switch and have been into Zelda at some point in time, maybe as recently as 2017, but that was 6 years ago, and times changed. Yeah, so much has changed in 6 years. What? What's changed in 6 years? I mean, yes, we have a far worse president now, and our economy is absolutely in the dumpster. Beyond that, not much has changed in 6 years. I mean, yeah, you could throw, there's a couple years of lockdowns. Those have been over for a year and a half, 2 years now as well. So what's really changed in the 6 years when it comes to video games? Not much. I'm still playing video game, maybe a little bit less now than I was 6 years ago, but that's how time works. You're making it sound like, 6 years is an inordinate amount of time that video games, specifically this new Zelda game, is just going to be inaccessible because 6 years have passed. Bro, this is the same hardware that was running 6 years ago. Like, what does that statement mean? In 2017, for example, I was 37 years old with 2 kids and working at a video game website. In 2023, I am, okay, bad example. It was a nice attempt at humor there, but your lack of self-awareness in every other Kotaku article has made this one moment of self-awareness lose any and all comedic timing it could have had. If I was watching someone with, I don't know, journalistic integrity write an article like this, that could have given me a chuckle. But knowing it came from Kotaku, it just reads as desperate and sad. But there are going to be a lot of people in Nintendo's crosshairs for this game that might not be as into this Zelda as they were the last one. For them, Nintendo Australia made this trailer, and it sure is something. Now, I'm not going to play the trailer because I'll be honest, I'm beyond excited for Tears of the Kingdom, and I don't want any spoilers. I have not watched any trailer or seen any media except the very first trailer teaser they released, I think literally over a year ago. But that being said, the article does explain what's in the trailer, so it's not going to be a big deal that we're not watching it. Plus, you can always watch the video for yourself afterwards. But the article explains the trailer because you don't really need to see it to understand the rest of the article. Obviously, it's worth noting, you see an older guy, probably a businessman, probably a family man, playing his Switch. There are 2 ways you can read this trailer. The first way is that its creators and Nintendo clearly intended, which is this guy, who has a boring job and boring life because he's a boring middle-aged man, can still find some joy in this world, and he can find it by staying up late playing a video game. Which, yes, I assume based on context, that's exactly how you were supposed to interpret this trailer. And you know what? I'm sure it works because that's effective marketing. The people that went to see Top Gun to make it make over $1 billion at the box office, the vast majority of them, probably boring adults now who saw Top Gun when they were in their teenage years and they wanted to relive that. And you know what? Word of mouth got out and the movie broke records. Marketing to an older audience for your new product makes perfect sense. I mean, we should actually be seeing more legacy products do this instead of just trying to appeal to the modern young generation because, I don't know, older people are the ones that actually have money. So I bet this is an incredibly effective commercial. And here we have a picture of Luke Plunkett, and if you don't remember Luke Plunkett, he's the moron that started the whole blacklisting by Nintendo thing. He's also the moron that, for the record, this is how I feel about publisher blacklists, and makes this awful World War II, analogy here. So yeah, there's that. He's also the same Luke Plunkett that is just dick writing for Star Wars Jedi Survivor. This game's simply not the games they are without the takeoff landing process. Or this gem right here. It starts as a AAA sequel and seems fine, but by the time I was platforming in a windy desert, I was squealing. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is really that good. Seriously. Yeah, that's right. They know that without Tears of the Kingdom, they're just gonna have to dick ride this incredibly broken, terrible game. Well, not terrible. Could be a good game were it actually produced properly. But yeah, no. So yeah, this is the guy that's writing the article we're reading. Yeah, I'm sure you are far more than a sad 43-year-old man, Mr. Plunkett. This reading works, and since there was a bit of a gap there, he's talking about the reading of the commercial as a joyous thing for adults to look at and be like, oh, I can be a kid again with a new Zelda game. This reading works, especially if you're the target market. Zelda makes him happy, both at home and on the bus, and even inspires him to look out the window and appreciate a lovely bit of scenery as he drives past it. There's still good in the world, he thinks to himself, and it's all because he purchased The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Sounds like a perfectly effective marketing strategy to me. Far better marketing than making a tranny the spokesperson for your NASCAR beer product.
So, I kept hearing about this thing called March Madness, and I thought we were all just having a hectic month, but it turns out it has something to do with sports. And I'm not sure exactly which sport, but either way, it's a cause to celebrate.
But what do I know? Yet there's also something unsettling about the whole thing. It's shot beautifully. But like IGN's Brian Altano says below, yeah, you're gonna drop IGN's name in there because it's not bad enough that Kotaku has no journalistic integrity. They also gotta throw in one of the other arbiters of just truly awful video game journalism takes. You're gonna drag IGN down with you. Not that that's super hard, but I don't know, maybe there's strength in numbers. Brian Altano says below, perhaps too well, it starts making you forget this is a video game trailer and think that maybe this is just a very sad movie about a very sad man. Brian Altano, the new Zelda commercial shot like a Darren Aronofsky movie. The part where he gets home from work to his dimly lit home, sighs repeatedly, and unwinds with a tall glass of tap water might have been one of the most devastating things I've seen. Get over it! If a commercial is one of the most devastating things you've seen, thank God you weren't in the front lines during the War on Terror, because, let me tell you, that's some devastating shit! If a commercial is devastating to you, get some help, my guy! You literally make a living writing for video game news. You're not even one of those hard-hitting journalists that are out there reporting on, like, sex scandals like the Jeffrey Epstein shit, looking through photos of, like, abused buttholes and stuff like that. Like, I don't normally get this crass, but really? A video game reporter's talking about a devastating commercial? Hell out of here with that. I think both can be true, but at the same time, more video game trailers like this, please. It's lovely seeing some genuine thought put into one. Now, we're going to stop there, because we're going to stop for a moment, I should say, because there is an update. But does this not just read as Notice Me Senpai for Nintendo? Now they're going to talk about how effective the marketing was, please. Or maybe you could see, just like the trailer, you could see this article two ways. A man who's desperate and sad that, his company was blacklisted by Nintendo, so they're going out of their way to either try and emotionally manipulate you into thinking they're the victim. Look at me, I'm this 43-year-old man too old for video games, and Nintendo's commercials reminding me of that. Oh, aren't they such villains? Or you can, near the end, he does in fact say, I think both can be true at the same time. More video game trailers like this, please. It's lovely seeing some genuine thought put into one. That's the only positive thing he says. This entire article, all the rest is emotional manipulation. That's the part that screams, notice me, Nintendo Senpai. We'll write good reviews, we promise. We'll stop telling people how to emulate your games, and we'll absolutely stop making World War II, Japanese, and Nazi references towards you as a company. Like Luke Plunkett, what a POS. Now, we will get to the updated part because, frankly, I do enjoy it, and I am glad that Kotaku did their due diligence to update an article. They're still absolute trash, but I guess they earned like a half a point of a half of a percent of integrity back. Like a half of a percent, that's what we'll say. Updates, 9:10 p.m. Somebody who worked on the commercial and has asked to remain anonymous, probably because they don't want to acknowledge they're talking to Kotaku of all people. Like if you were talking to some, big YouTuber, like I bet they would, oh yeah, by the way, Jerry from so-and-so told me. But they're like, who are you? Kotaku? Blur out my face, remain anonymous, maybe pitch shift my voice, whatever you guys gotta do. Oh, it's just a written article? Okay, cool, yeah. Name anonymous. Somebody who worked on the commercial has asked to remain anonymous, reached out to let us know the Zelda commercial was inspired by a Japanese Amazon review for Breath of the Wild. I did a bit of digging, and I'm almost certain this is the one. Google Translate isn't perfect and probably butchers the translation a bit, but you can get the gist of it here in English. He is a member of society called a so-called layman. He was hit by the community rush hour, bowed to his customers and bosses, overtime work every day while doing various things while being forced to train his juniors. I get annoyed by mountains. I don't even know the name of the one that I see on my way to work. When I come back home dizzy, I don't have the strength to eat, so I drink and sleep. If you have time to play games, you have to go to seminars and get married. Days when I honestly wonder why I'm still alive. I remembered it was from the Switch store sale I saw on the day I went to buy Dead Sake. When I was crazy about Mario 64 when I was a kid, it's like Mario these days. It's PS. I'm not sure what that means, begin translation stuff. I was embarrassed when my friend told me at the time. I was determined not to be hated by my friends. Oh, it's like Mario these... Okay, so they were talking about when they were kids, like they were PlayStation. They weren't into Mario. I was embarrassed when my friend told me. At that time, I was determined not to be hated by my friends. I also replied, Super Mario is old. The beauty of Final Fantasy VII at the time, and the shock of hearing the CD on TV, and maybe a feeling that children today do not understand. That's how appealing and innovative it was to children at the time. And that's true. I mean, I was there for that. I was absolutely there for the cartridge to disc switchover. And man, it was crazy. I wish I could tell you guys, but if you weren't there, there's really no explaining it. I still don't know why I picked up the Switch at the time. I just thought the main unit in Zelda with a beer in one hand and thinking that I could sell it if it was boring. Yesterday, when I was at work, I saw a mountain. I didn't even know the name from the window of the train. The moment I thought, I think I can climb it. Tears overflowed and I couldn't stop. The Lehmans of the same generation who were beside me must have thought, what the hell is this guy? That's brilliant. That's a beautiful sentiment. I mean, I'll be honest, guys. That's a review like that. It makes a compelling commercial. I want to watch this commercial, but again, I don't want any spoilers for Tears of the Kingdom. But the fact that he reviewed Breath of the Wild, because this game introduced such reverence for his childhood, is a beautiful sentiment. And I will, it's nice to see this covered in a positive light. Too bad it's in an update all the way down at the very bottom that is, for the most part, a very shitty, feel sorry for me because I'm old Kotaku article. I would like to recommend it to Lehman colleagues who are pressed for time and who run side by side every day, even if they are hated for maintaining the status quo. Don't say it's just a game. We were born in the golden age of gaming. Have you ever seen your family move with Mario's jumps? Do you remember playing Smash with a controller? Have you ever discussed strategies for Chrono Trigger or Final Fantasy VII with your friends? I know it now. I used to be a fucking kid, but my parents swore on birthdays and Christmas that you bought me fucking expensive hardware and software. On the side of being naughty, you managed to buy an expensive game for me with the house money. I'm impressed that I've realized just now that I didn't realize that I was working so hard on my life. I should have been more filial. 5 stars. There's nothing more I can say because all the reviews are good. This Zelda gives me the challenge and reward that I forgot. You can experience an exciting adventure where you can freely explore the world without a map. We are of the same generation, are sick every day in order to surpass tomorrow. But don't be disappointed in life. The adventure I was hoping for was in a place like this. That is a beautiful article. Like, I genuinely choked up there near the end. That's a beautiful article. Beautiful review, not article, sorry. That is one hell of a review. And it inspired what I hope to be an amazing commercial. But then you got these dickheads from Kotaku who either want to shit all over Nintendo for rightfully, blacklisting them, or try and get back in their good graces by sucking off, what is down here truly a beautiful sentiment. Someone poured their heart and soul into this sort of review, and it's, being used here for more emotional manipulation. Does Kotaku have no shame? That's a dumb question. I know the answer to that. All in all, the reason I want to bring this up is because Tears of the Kingdom is right around the corner, and I genuinely can't wait for the game. But I'm also getting super tired of seeing Kotaku talk about it, because they are not getting the game. They didn't get the game early. They've been making a stink about that on Twitter for ages now, and they've been blaming Nintendo, making all sorts of negative remarks, criticisms, and look, no company is without criticism, Nintendo included. But when you're Kotaku, the sort of criticism they're giving isn't warranted, and it's so sickening to see these sorts of companies doing whatever they can to stay relevant by posting this sort of garbage clickbait article, because they know, oh, there's controversy around this on Twitter, so now there's our chance to get some clicks, because otherwise you ain't getting clicks. Kotaku is not making money. It doesn't have millions of viewers. I mean, this article is technically from yesterday. The update was today, but the article itself is from yesterday, and I didn't hear about it. Who did? Where was the news? I run a nerdy news show. I had a nerdy news live show last night. This wasn't on the docket because no one cares about Kotaku. What does that say about your company, about your standards? I can't wait for them to die, but until then, let's roast the hell out of him. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below, or let me know on Twitter where you can find me at BoltTheWord. And please do subscribe. I am a nerdy news channel, and I'm so close to that 1,000 subscriber mark. We're at the 83. Like, I appreciate it so much. I couldn't do this without you. So please do subscribe if you haven't, and if you have, thank you very much. It's much appreciated. I am a nerdy news channel. I do nerdy news almost every day, not just about video games, but about anime, movies, Star Wars, books, you name it. It's all here in the nerdosphere, and this has been Words of Paradise.